In a silence, prayer, and the Pledge of Allegiance. Oh God, thank you for the gift of this new day, and thank you for the blessings of this life, family, friends, work, and purpose. Guide us as we discuss, plan, and dream together. Help us to make wise and just decisions. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
These proceedings are being recorded for the sole purpose of constituting the accuracy of written minutes. Tapes are reused, eliminating recorded records of these proceedings. Approval of the minutes of the previous meeting held June 11th, 2020.
Move to approve.
Second.
Mr. Honor?
Yes.
Mr. Lukasevich?
Yes.
Mr. Notstein?
Yes. Are there any guests concerning county business this time? So, yeah. Please state your name and where you're from.
My name is Annette Tanisi. I'm from Lehighton, and I understand that this issue is not for the commissioners, it's a borough issue. However, I did want to bring it to your attention because there's going to be problems, and I would like everybody to be aware of it. Can I hand these to you guys?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, I would really like you to take a look at the first picture that's in there. And there's a petition with 35 people on it from my block that are having serious problems. We have people that that moved in next door to us. They have visitors from New York, New Jersey, that come specifically to set off fireworks in our neighborhood. It's just been a nightmare. I had to have one of my animals put down yesterday because of it. I live with a veteran that has PTSD. My husband cannot take this. Well, now, if you see those pictures, how can that be legal in town? I'm not understanding. The borough will be well aware of this. We've had these people urinating in the street in front of the homes of two widows on my block. They have threatened my husband. They stepped up on our porch after we asked them to stop. They threatened another neighbor up the street with firepower, that they come on down. They have a lot of it. Debris is falling on the buildings. We fear for our lives. I mean, my house is oxygen. What happens when the police department comes and the house blows up? And we're just supposed to stand there and pray that the hose reaches the roof if embers fall on our homes. I mean, people are terrified. This is just really an issue that's probably widespread all over Lehighton. There is another one at 225 Center Alley. I believe that is Section 8 housing. Another time. Fireworks just rain down on the neighborhood for hours and hours and hours, and nothing. We called the police at least 10 times from different people. No one comes. Like I said, I just wanted you to be aware of this problem. It will be taken up with borough, and I do have some facts here from the Pennsylvania State Police, if you're interested in hearing them.
Since it's not a county issue, and it's supposed to be county time, 3-minute limit. So if you don't mind, if you want to leave copies, we certainly looked at it and forwarded it to the borough as well.
Well, Commissioner, I would actually prefer to give her a couple more minutes, if you don't mind. Again, I understand it's not directly a county issue. However,
Yes.
it is impacting, if I understand correctly, multiple residents from the signed petition. If you wouldn't mind, just give her maybe 2 more minutes to wrap it up,
Okay,
if you don't mind.
okay. In 2 minutes, if you could wrap it up. I don't know if any of
Sure.
the other ladies would speak to the same issue here,
Do you want to?
but
I just have a
Just give-
quick thing to say. It's not-
Okay, I just have real quick facts from the Pennsylvania State Police website. Says fireworks cannot be ignited or discharged on a public or private property without express permission of property owner. They cannot be discharged toward a motor vehicle or building or within 150 feet of an occupied structure, whether or not a person is actually present. And they cannot be discharged while a person is under the influence of alcohol, controlled substance, or other drug. Also, cannot be discharged from a motor vehicle or a building. And I understand that certain devices still remain illegal, M80s, M100s, quarter and half sticks, and all of these were going off in my neighborhood. Vicki can attest to that, she lives 2 doors up. That's pretty much all I have to say. Like I said, I will be taking it up with the borough. The mayor's well aware of it. I sent copies to the mayor, to the police department, to the borough, and whoever else. You know, if there's anyone else you think needs copies, I'll be happy to hand them out.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, thank you, ma'am. Good luck with that.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Any other guests concerning county
Yeah,
business?
I just want to say something really quickly. I don't know if you heard, but she
Name
got,
and where you're from,
Margaret
please,
Allen.
for the record.
Margaret Allen.
All right.
She did mention, I don't know if you heard it, but she did have a petition of 35 people.
Yes.
And that's, you know,
I have
35
that
people are on here, okay. The thing that I wanted to say is, are our state representatives doing anything about changing a law that would cover the entire state of Pennsylvania about these atrocities? Because you have fire companies all over our state. They're overrun with calls and fires and everything because of all these fireworks that Governor Wolf said are okay. And that's because of the revenue that he's getting for the money for these fireworks. It's millions of dollars. But then again, I'm reading what it says here, Bucks County, Representative Frank Ferry, he's like, we've got to do something about this. Pittsburgh, York, Hazelton, their fire companies, their police forces, its trauma centers, burn units are growing concerned with the increased fireworks-related injuries they're seeing. I mean, I'm just doing lightly of what I have here. It's a statewide thing. Is it more important to have these people overworked, which they already are overworked, you know, our police department is overworked, or make the money from Phantom and all these other people? That's all I wanted to say.
Sure, and thank you for the comments, and I'm not aware of any possible legislation to change that statewide, but I
It
do
might
believe.
be a good idea.
Pardon? And we could talk to our representatives about that.
Thank you.
I would think the municipalities as well have the ability to prohibit it.
Yeah.
I
They
thought Lehighton did have didn't they have some kind of an ordinance? I thought
It
They
is.
just
I'm
changed
talking-
that last year, wasn't
You're
it?
I was
for
talking
statewide.
statewide.
Yeah, well, yeah, but I
I was-
mean, like for your issue here,
Yes,
I mean, that's
That's
what,
what she
I thought they, I'm not sure, but I think last year they just passed that.
but the
We have
police
no one
aren't
to
coming.
respond.
The police aren't coming. They were called 10 times. They're not coming. That's the problem.
All right.
Well, I
thank
think
you.
the mayor's in charge of the police,
I spoke with them.
so.
Okay, thank you. Okay, any other guests concerning county business? Hearing none, we'll move on.
Report of executive sessions held.
There were none. I can't think of any more.
Department reports, the budget transfers.
I'll move to approve.
Second,
Mr. Arner?
yes.
Mr. Lukasevich?
Yes.
Mr. Notstein?
Yes.
There were no supplemental appropriations. Expenditures, approval of check numbers 213868 through 214062 for expenditures to the general fund clearing account totaling $1,040,401.66.
I'll move to approve.
Second,
Mr. Arner?
yes.
Mr. Lukasevich?
Yes.
Mr. Notstein?
Yeah, and I want to point two quick expenditures on this too, just so the public knows what some of these departments are aging, or Department on Aging, Area Agency on Aging is over 144,000. Children and Youth Fund alone is 682,000 plus. So, those are two of our biggest expenses, taking care of our seniors and our children and youth in this county.
And actually, those are repayments back to the general fund for monies that we advanced while we were waiting for state reimbursements to come in. So that's 500,000 of that children and youth, and 100,000, I think, of the aging is actually us getting money back into the general fund that we had to advance for shortfalls.
And it goes back to a comment made earlier this year that we had the funds that we should give a rebate, but it's for items such as this where we're expending the funds and then don't get reimbursed for months at a time from the state or federal government. So, thank you, Ron.
Okay. The treasurer's report.
Move to approve.
I'll second,
Mr. Arner?
yes.
Mr. Lukasevich?
Yes.
Mr. Notstein?
Yes.
Personnel report,
So moved.
Second?
Mr. Honor?
Yes.
Mr. Lukasevich?
Yes.
Mr. Notstein?
Yes.
Correspondence was received as listed. Copies will be made available to the press upon request. Adult probation for approval and execution. The revised 2020 County Intermediate Punishment Plan.
Move to approve.
Second.
Mr. Honor?
Yes.
Mr. Lukasevich?
Yes.
Mr. Notstein?
Yes.
Children and Youth for approval and execution, the fiscal year 2019-2020 purchase a service agreement with Concerned Professional Services for Children, Youth, and Families of Fleetwood, Pennsylvania, as per the attached rates.
So moved.
Second?
Mr. Honor?
Yes.
Mr. Lukasevich?
Yes.
Mr. Notstein?
Yes.
COVID-19 County Relief Block Grant for ratification, submission of the single application for assistance to the Pennsylvania Department of Community and Economic Development for the COVID-19 County Relief Block Grant in the amount of $5,796,203.11.
So moved.
Second?
Mr. Honor?
Yes.
Mr. Lukasevich?
Yes.
Mr. Notstein?
Yes, and I'll talk more about that under further business.
GIS mapping for approval and execution. A multi-party geospatial data sharing agreement as submitted by the Pennsylvania State Geospatial Coordinating Board to build a Pennsylvania base map comprised of commonly used public, non-sensitive geospatial data in a freely available manner. This will also allow the user easier access to the data and also allows government entities to create GIS-enabled work products that cross political boundaries.
Move to approve and execute.
Second.
Mr. Honor?
Yes.
Mr. Lukasevich?
Yes.
Mr. Notstein?
Yes.
Human Resources for approval, software maintenance with Cobra Solutions of Tempe, Arizona, for the term of July 1, 2020 through June 30th, 2021, at a cost of $395. This is no change in the cost since inception in 2011.
Move to approve.
Second.
Mr. Honor?
Yes.
Mr. Lukasevich?
Yes.
Mr. Notstein?
Yes.
Human Services for approval and execution. Grant agreement between the County of Carbon, Shepherd House Incorporated as the county's lead agency, and the Pennsylvania Department of Agriculture for participation in the State Food Purchase Program Grant for the period of July 1, 2020 to June 30th, 2025.
So moved.
Second?
Mr. Honor?
Yes.
Mr. Lukasevich?
Yes.
Mr. Notstein?
Yes.
Insurance for ratification, the 2020-2021 insurance renewal with the Pennsylvania County's Risk Pool for the period of June 1, 2020 through June 1, 2021, at a total cost of $301,939. This is an increase of $76,259.
Move to ratify.
Second.
Mr. Honor?
Yes.
Mr. Lukasevich?
Yes.
Mr. Notstein?
Yes.
Planning and Development for adoption and execution. Fair Housing Resolution and Notice as required for the 2020 Community Development Block Grant Program and the 2020 Community Development Block Grant application. First item is the motion to adopt the resolution and the notice.
Move to adopt.
Second.
Mr. Honor?
Yes.
Mr. Lukasevich?
Yes.
Mr. Notstein?
Yes.
We need a motion to authorize the advertisement.
Move to advertise.
Second.
Mr. Honor?
Yes.
Mr. Lukasevich?
Yes.
Mr. Notstein?
Yes.
A service agreement for ratification and upgrade order agreement submitted by Schindler Elevator Corporation of Allentown, Pennsylvania for the Courthouse Number 1 elevator to remove the existing door edge and install a new infrared door detection device at a cost of $6,998.
So moved.
Second?
Mr. Honor?
Yes.
Mr. Lukasevich?
Yes.
Mr. Notstein?
Yes.
Solicitor's report, elections, for approval and execution. Addendum to the agreement between the county and Suzette Kurtz to provide logistics and accuracy testing of voting machines for the 2020 general primary election at $20 per hour, not to exceed 50 hours of service rendered. This represents an increase of 15 hours.
Move to approve and execute.
Second,
Mr. Honor?
yes.
Mr. Lukasevich?
Yes.
Mr. Notstein?
Yes.
Magisterial District Court Offices for ratification. Addenda to the agreements between the following independent contractors for janitorial services at the Carbon County Magisterial District Offices. Addenda amends the agreements to clean and disinfect offices 5 times weekly. Addenda are effective June 1, 2020 through September 30th, 2020. County may terminate or modify the addenda at any time. Compensation, each contract was increased $150 for each month as per the individuals listed.
Move to ratify.
Second,
Mr. Honor?
yes.
Mr. Lukasevich?
Yes.
Mr. Notstein?
Yes.
Further business?
Yeah, I have one item.
Yes.
So I just came off a phone call with the Pennsylvania Housing Financial Agency and Catholic Charities of the Allentown Diocese. Catholic Charities has agreed to accept our request for them to manage the rent relief program. So I'd like to make the motion to accept Catholic Charities of the Allentown Diocese as our program manager for the rent relief program. Time is of the essence, our application has to be in this afternoon for that.
Is that, you mean the motion?
The motion to
I'll
accept
second
them.
that one.
Mr. Honor?
Yes.
Mr. Lukasevich?
Yes,
Mr. Notstein?
Yes.
Okay.
that's all I can.
To discuss a little bit further along the COVID-19 issues and the short notice on applying for these applications is certainly an issue. Last week while we were in the meeting, I'd say it was during the meeting that we received an email to apply for the $5 million, almost $5.8 million grant that we had to have the application in by Tuesday, the 16th. So we already had some discussion on it and how we would proceed and what we had to do. So we enlisted the help of our fiscal consultant, Jeff Weiss. He put together the grant application, and that was submitted about noontime on Monday already. They did give us a whopping one-day extension till Wednesday. But that's just how the state works. They sit on this for months with looking for guidance, and we're still continuing to look for guidance on these grants, et cetera. But we managed to get it in time for the full amount of $5,796,203.11, which was what we were allowed. So we applied for the max. Now, the problem is the distribution of this. We have not received the money yet, but we already met with Weiss, and we'll be coming up with some applications for the different entities, such as municipalities and their expenses, small businesses. Let me go back a little bit here and on the municipalities. Chris is going to be working with the Council of Governments and putting a committee together there. The small business grants, I already spoke to the Chamber, County Chamber and Economic Development Corporation. We'll be putting together a committee. And each one of these committees, I would say, will have or most of them will have a county commissioner on one of them. And they're working on that. We also have the tourism businesses, Marlon Kistner, will probably be heading up that committee that they're putting together on how we will distribute the funds. Other grant programs that'll come through us, like the Small Business Development Centers and Wilkes University, who has been helping our businesses through this coronavirus issue and helping businesses get back on their feet. So they're looking for grants. Behavioral health and disorder treatment services, the Carbon Monroe Pike Drug and Alcohol, the mental health, developmental services, which is the joiner board between Carbon Monroe and Pike. So we'll be working with those entities and come up with some kind of an agreement and fair share cost to each of the counties. Now, Assistance for nonprofits, we'll be working on that one as well.
And that will be Carbon Community
Community
Foundation,
Foundation,
Sharon
that's right.
Alexander will be
Yes.
picking up the lead for us.
So, we have a long way to go. We're hoping to have applications ready by middle of July. We don't know when the funding will be coming to Carbon County. The decisions will have to be made how much for each of the different entities, municipalities in the county, et cetera. You know, some of the restrictions on these, you will have to have invoices or paid bills. It has to be above and beyond what your normal budget was for, because of the virus. It has to be COVID-related expenses. If you're a business over 100 employees, you do not qualify under this program. If you qualify on under another program, that'll be taken into consideration in the funds. We're not sure how we're gonna do it, if it'll be per capita or percentage-wise, because at first, when we received notice of this $5.8 million, seems like a lot of money, but when you look at all the businesses in Carbon County that were affected and lost money, were forced to close, it adds up in a hurry, and we're certainly hoping to help as many as possible through this process. So again, we'll be looking at middle of July probably sometime, as far as having the applications ready to go out to the different entities that might be eligible. Again, I have to stress, it has to have the documentation. If you're a nonprofit, let's say let's say a fire company could not hold breakfast, we're gonna have to have that documented, what your average, maybe your average income was from your breakfasts. If you had to cancel 1, 2, we have to try to figure those things out. So with the help of Jeff's wife and his organization, Susquehanna Advisors, he is already working with larger counties that have received the cash funding, which was another issue we have with the state. They were handed this money right in the beginning and didn't have to apply. We have to go through the application process. So we're certainly, at least I am not happy with that at all, but us as smaller counties are being treated unfairly compared to the bigger counties. So we'll be moving on. We will be most likely assigning one of our staff members here full-time to help us get the applications out, track the applications as they come in, review them. If any additional information is required, they can contact those entities. Hey, this is what's missing. If you're looking for funding, you better have the proper documentation, or you don't get it, unfortunately. So it's gonna be very time consuming. We only have to the end of the year to expend all those funds. So, and the problem I see is that any funds expended up until that time are eligible, but after, we cannot do that. We're gonna have to set our own deadline somewhere. And we're looking at doing 2 rounds possibly, at least to get some funding out there to some of the businesses and municipalities that have taken big hits, and look at what else comes in the remainder of the year. So we'll see how it plays out. We'll keep the public informed, and as well as all these different entities that are eligible for grant funding as we get more details from the state, as well as we develop our application process and how we're gonna try to distribute this funding fairly to everyone. So that's all I have on that.
Commissioners report, Mr. Arnold?
All right, what time do we take lunch? Yeah, I don't know if we wanna, there's
Where's the
some,
gavel?
that there can go, yeah, there's the gavel. This goes to Ryan, that if I'm reading with my glasses fogged, and everybody can take a copy of the picture. In case I missed something, Ryan, through my fog. Another thing that we've been working on, for the past several months, we have been developing a renovation plan to resolve the space problem within county offices. During this time, the 3 of us, commissioners, and an architect, met with several stakeholders, including departments to have their input. From the start, our focus was allow for growth, save taxes, make access for the public and employees user-friendly, and fit the architecture of Jim Thorpe. The start of this plan is to renovate the past archives and 76 building on Susquehanna Street. This will be known as the 4476 renovation project. This phase will involve half the space, this phase solves half the space dilemma at a third of the original cost. With that said, the next step we're looking at is to reconfigure offices in the courthouse and pursue other avenues to alleviate the county overall space issue. The 44 building will have partial second floor removed and full height second floor will be added to create a two-story building on the original footprint. And that's the picture that you're seeing now. The building will house the departments of election, planning, workforce, currently at the 76 Susquehanna. With this move, the 76 building will be renovated to accommodate adult probation, veterans affairs, and juvenile probation on the first floor, with children and youth and domestic relations staying on the second. The timeline, it will be advertised approximately in the end of August, and construction we're hoping would start by the last week of October. In our meeting with the church members, local historians, and officials, we addressed our concerns from St. Mark's stained glass to everyday local operations. The comment that most people said was, "That's the building? I never expected it to look like this." And I think if you look at the picture, it fits Jim Thorpe. I don't know if everybody got the picture. And just on my comment with it, you know, this project did not start when this board was formed. It started previously. And in the past, there may have been a little, could you call it constructive criticism? But I feel this gave us a better overview of the wants and needs of Carbon
It's an
County.
understatement.
Well,
If I have the same meeting.
but it is true. I think you see things that happened in the past and things were missed, and it really did help us. You know what I mean? I think it helped us, and like the statement that maybe I made in the beginning was a little rough to the architect, but I think they got the point. And when the architect came out with those drawings, like, we changed very little on that. I mean, the guy hit it spot on. I mean, he was. They actually looked at like the navigation building and several other buildings up Broadway, and he pieced it together. And I said, like, the historians, when they came in, their comment was, "That's the building? Yes, that's the building." Because it looks like it fit here, and it looks like it's a well-kept building from 100 years ago or 150 years ago. I mean, and that's what we were looking for. And it does house the appropriate people and give them the appropriate space. And I said, our steps are going to continue on this. It's going to take us a couple more months to get everything else worked out for the other things, but I could sign off on this. I mean, I think it's very good. You know, the space is great. I think the location, and I think one of the things that we actually, and I'm not picking on the last plan, but the last plan took away parking spaces. This here, we actually added one. So it's really no loss to the borough, and it's a gain for the county. So thank you.
Mr. Lukasevich?
Well, so on following up with Rocky, the borough does gain one parking meter, so good for them. But they were great, you know, in their participation
Oh,
with
yeah.
helping us work through this with the other stakeholders. So thanks to St. Mark's Church, SOS Borough of Jim Thorpe, the local architect historian who provided us some valuable input on that. Just one thing I want to mention, we've been tracking tax collections out of concern that might negatively impact our revenue flow. But to date, we have collected just under $15 million in taxes. But the amount isn't so much as the fact that we're right on target where we were last year when it comes to percentage of tax collected at this point. So we're right under the 80% mark. We're within 3/4 of a percentage point of last year's collection rate. So we look real good when it comes to a real estate property tax collection. That's all I have.
Okay. I have no further comments or business, so meeting adjourned. We'll be going into our retirement board. Ryan, are you gonna stick around for that, or?
I don't really need to.
Well, then, do you have any questions before we start our
I
retirement?
think
board?
everything was answered fairly well, so.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Annette, Margaret. Thank you, guys. Good luck with Clark and the borough and
Thank you so much. Thank you. Chris, what did you say on the
Ruining the place.
I can't remember, Lee told me I should.
I'll have to think back. We
Okay,
good?
just
Oh,
be-
did Ellie have a copy?
No.
Okay, let Ellie for the official record if you want
Yeah,
to.
we can,
Or we can
give her a
provide her.
copy.
Yeah, hey, we can provide her.
We'll
Annette,
give her, yeah, we'll
We're
give her
good.
a copy, don't
we'll
worry.
give her
I have
one.
an extra here.
That's good. We
It's all right,
have,
we have extras, you know, so
Okay, thank you.
use that one with Clark, you know?
we'll have it on file.
Yeah, I'm going to.
All right.
TENISCI.
Going right into
Thank
retirement.
you, everybody.
Hey, take care, be safe.
Okay.
Be safe, everybody.
Okay, thanks, Ryan. Okay, call the retirement board meeting to order. We'll turn it over to Secretary Controller Mark Severcek.
Thank you, Commissioner Notstein. I'd like to start with an approval of the minutes of the previous meeting held May 21st, 2020.
So moved.
Second,
Okay, Mr. Sheehan,
Yes?
Mr. Svercek, yes, Mr. Arner,
Yes.
Mr. Lukasevich.
yes?
Mr. Notstein.
Yes,
Any guests concerning retirement business? Hearing none. A report of executive session, we did have a phone conference on June 1st with David Reichert of Corn Ferry, and I'm sorry, there was a typo there, to discuss the annual recommended ADC, which is the actuarial determined contribution for the pension fund, along with a review of two other recommendations to consider for the board. Any questions on that? Okay. Next, we'll move on to ratify the warrant. Checks number 40564 to 40585, and direct deposits 7007711 to 8083.
So moved.
Second?
Okay, Mr. Sheehan?
Yes?
Mr. Svercek? Yes. Mr. Arner?
Yes.
Mr. Lukasevich?
I probably should have went to discussion here quick.
Oh.
Just to confirm, I see it says through 40585. I see, I'm trying to understand, I see 40580 listed here. So those other checks, I see 5 checks listed here as non-scheduled, so only the non-scheduled payments are listed here? On this May warrant, right?
Yes.
I'm looking here, I see from 40566 to 40580. Then on item 1, I see ratify warrant checks 40564 through 40585.
Yeah, mine says unless you had I have 40564 to 40585 reflecting the minutes. I'm apologizing if you have an incorrect copy there. The other commissioner?
no, I haven't.
Commissioner Lukasevich, do you have the updated copy of the agenda? There was a second agenda passed out yesterday.
I don't know, I'm just going by my packet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I do not have it, so, okay.
Yeah, and that's all that there was changed on, I saw the agenda this morning,
Right,
and the only thing that changed were the numbers
okay, all right.
on the
I'm good.
agenda. So that might clear it up.
Take that. Yeah, that matches the minutes.
Yeah, but my minutes are wrong. So
Oh,
this
your
is
minutes
good,
are wrong. Oh,
right, the
I'm
minutes
sorry.
are wrong.
Okay,
Okay,
very
I'm
sorry.
good though, got
Okay, I
it.
think Kevin
Yep.
did a new one.
Yeah,
Okay.
okay.
All right, so
Good.
should I do that over?
No, I vote yes.
No.
or- Okay.
Oh, you don't,
just wanted to show us paying attention.
Yeah, thank you. You're reading.
He was raising a question
It's just checking.
under the motion, but he's okay.
Yeah, with it, yeah.
Okay, so it was, the last one was Mr. Notstein.
Yes.
The motion, okay, everybody else approved. All right. The retirement activity for May is there as well, and we had 2 retirement refunds, 2 superannuation retirements. The monthly benefits totaled $425,597.16. The 2 refunds, $19,22.76. One option 4, $22,843.49, for the total disbursements of $450,363.41. And the portfolio value as of May 31st was $73,970,450. And a little later in the meeting, you'll see that our portfolio value is up about $3 million, so that's all great news. Any questions on that? Hearing none. No correspondence, and I know our solicitor's on vacation, so nothing from them. And our investment manager is also on vacation, but she did provide us with the updated one-page portfolio summary, which is, I think, good news there. We're at $76,155,022. And if you look at that, just compared to what I read of $73,970,000, it's a nice uptick despite the turbulence in the market. And Sarah Wilson of Marquette has been working under our OCIO arrangement to do the rebalancing and the diversification. So you'll also see that in the report as well. One of the items she asked me to have ratified at the meeting was going into that one investment under MFS called the Low Volatility GL Fund. It's known as a CIT. Trust arrangement. I think everyone had gotten that one-page description of what that was. But basically, it works similar to a mutual fund, is only available to employer-sponsored plans, and does have lower costs. So she felt that was a good option for the plan to have some money in. So I would just seek a motion to ratify that action.
I'll so move it. It's a technical thing because it's a different class than what we're normally used to, so.
Yeah.
I'll make the motion to approve
Okay,
that.
thank you.
No,
Thank you. Mr. Sheehan?
Yes?
Mr. Svercek? Yes. Mr. Arner?
Yeah.
Mr. Lukasevich?
Yes.
Mr. Notstein?
yes.
All right, thank you. Let's see here. The second thing was with the ADC, the actuarial determined contribution. We did ask for Sarah Wilson's input on that, and she said that she always recommends that her county clients do the recommended ADC from the actuary if they could certainly afford it. And along with those 2 other recommendations, I asked her opinion on those as well. Again, budgetary considerations in mind. If the county could afford it, she'd recommend that as well for those other 2. Okay. Any questions on that? Under further business, moving to further business, there's been discussion, I think probably some action today, on moving to 100% direct deposit for the retiree payments.